The last 3 chapters of Revelation are heavily dogmatic. It is possible that works from both authors exist in these chapters. However, due to the lack of solid historical references, I see no reason to continue breaking down these chapters. There is only one part of these chapters that I think should be addressed, and it's in chapter 20. This chapter is an allusion to so-called millennialism. It's a philosophical concept based on a Christian understanding of 2 Peter chapter 3. In this verse, the author, assumed to be Peter, is rationalizing why it is that the end of the world hasn't come yet. He's simply saying that there is no way to determine when the end of the world is coming. The philosophy of millennialism based on this verse first starts appearing in early Christian writers somewhere between 150 and 230 CE. 1,000 years is purely figurative to these writers. It's a simple way of saying no one knows when Jesus is supposed to return. There is one curious statement in chapter 20 that likely indicates the date of the author. In this verse, the author indicates that after the figurative 1,000 years, the dragon, which is the Roman emperors from chapter 13 and 17, has to be released for a short time. This is probably an allusion to the chaos following the death of Commodus. To the Christian author, the beast dies with Commodus. The following year is the year of the 5 emperors, and Rome is plunged into civil war and chaos. This short stint of chaos is followed up by the rise of Septimius Severus. Severus begins gaining control in about 193 CE, but he isn't in full control until about 197 CE, and for Christianity, things simply don't get any better during his reign. The reign of Septimius Severus marks the setting free of the dragon, who apparently must be set free for a short time. In all likelihood, the final author, the Christian author, died sometime during or just after the reign of Septimius Severus. This author believed in the philosophy of millennialism, which isn't saying much because 1,000 years is purely figurative to these people, but the authors seem to be saying that even though the beast has died, the beast ends up coming back with Septimius Severus, and no one knows when the Roman Empire will finally fall. It's an admission at this point that the fall of the Roman Empire simply has not come yet, and these authors were really hoping for it to fall. This was the entire point of taking the beast in Daniel and putting him into Revelation. Their entire prophetic philosophy depended on the Roman Empire falling. The rest of this book is highly dogmatic. It's essentially a heaven-on-earth proposal. It does appear that both authors could be represented here, but at this point the authors have given up trying to prophesy the end of Rome. It probably was quite a downer to see the prophetic writings of chapter 13 and 17 become essentially meaningless with the death of Commodus and the rise of Septimius Severus. As it turned out, robbing the book of Daniel of his beast ended up being worthless. So the author finally admits in chapter 20 that he has no clue when the Roman Empire will fall. He adopts the infinite vagueness of millennialism. He wraps up the rest of the book in religious dogma, and the book of Revelation is complete.